See you again. Happy Sunday. So just to give you a quick overview of what we're going to do, we're going to dive into our usual demos, and then we're going to be doing another retro as well before we go into the issues for the next week. But before we dive in, just quick thumb scale, thumbs up being great, thumbs to the side being like, yeah, so-so, and thumbs down being not so great. How was your week this week? So, okay, some good, some so-so. Anything that anybody wants to bring up or discuss while we're together here, or any places where we can help you out in the coming week?
I'm stressed out about a side project that has to do with uploading audio to Rails, like through active storage. So if anybody has any knowledge of that, would love to pick your brain a little bit, but I think that's about it.
Lauren, I might DM you after this if you don't mind. I don't have experience with audio on Rails, but I used to work in radio and had to deal with audio formats. So happy to try to help if I can. Anybody else? Anything else anybody wants to bring up, or any places we can help? No? Okay, great. Well, just as we go through this week, feel free to drop anything you need in the TCL-10 channel, or DM Lauren, Matthew, or I. We're happy to help you out. You know, if you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, anything we can do, we're happy to help. Alrighty, so let's go into the fun part of the week, which is demos. Would any pair like to volunteer to be the first one to demo? Let's see, I'm trying to remember who the pairs were. I think it was Quinn and Tiana and Kat and Lauren. Did I get that right? Okay. Kat and Lauren, could I ask you all to start us off?
Yeah, totally. Lauren, do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to share mine?
Or I'll share. Do you want to talk through?
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, just pulling it up.
All right, well, I guess I can do like a little bit of an introduction. So this week, our issue was issue number 8, and the AC was that users should be able to tap a checkbox or a similar UI to mark an item as purchased, and then it should show as purchased for 24 hours. And then when the item is checked, the item should not be able to be added again to the list. It can only be interacted with after 24 hours. We weren't totally sure how to interpret the AC, but Quinn had sort of suggested that we do add some functionality as well to remove the last purchase date, which we've added to issue number 13, which has to do with viewing the item. So Lauren, if you want to show the item being checked. So once it's checked, we did add some CSS to sort of show it as like removed from the list as well, and made it sort of grayed out, and made it so that the checkbox is like not interactable for the user after that. And this state lasts for 24 hours. So it looks very simple from the front end, which is great. Lauren, do you want to pull up the code? And we can walk you through what we have changed. So I guess we could start with, where do we want to start, Lauren? I guess in the list.
We can start with app if you want. Just we did update some naming things.
Yeah, for sure. So at the app level, you can see that we did update, instead of last purchase date, we do have purchase dates now. We changed it from a single value to an array so that we can log all purchase dates and set ourselves up for success in the future when we're trying to find the average difference between the purchase dates. Which we also logged as milliseconds, so that it will be easier for us to do math on them instead of a value, like just straight UTC. And then where are we now? We are in list. Sorry, I'm just like on my own screen trying to see what we changed. Okay. So what did we change here? I think that the main thing here that we should talk about is our time function. So first we have the function to check the time. So we're grabbing the current date when like when the user is interacting with the app and when the component loads. And we're checking to see if that time is relative to the like most recent purchase time for each item, so that we can show whether or not it is within 24 hours and put that default CSS on the item. And then you can see here in the const time, we're getting the maximum of the array using the spread operator on that array in purchase dates in our Firebase. And then you can see below we added the checkbox. Lauren was amazing adding all of these attributes with the time to be able to show whether or not it is checked and interactable. And I think that now we should probably show Firebase, where we grab, we add the items to the array. All right, so we added this update purchase dates function where we're ultimately going to the Firebase Firestore, looking in the item for the array, and then adding using array union, and then also using a built-in function from Firebase as well to get the timestamp of when the item is added and converting it to milliseconds. And I think that the only other thing that we really updated was we added a screen reader only class for the label for the checkbox, just to make it a little bit more semantic, so that users using a screen reader could still be able to know what that checkbox is for, just because the label is after it. Lauren, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
I realized I didn't show, I jumped ahead, sorry for the list. I think here we also updated it so that instead of it automatically updating with last purchase, now we're updating it with and set to null. Now we're creating it with a default value of an empty array.
Amazing. Did anyone have any questions, comments about what we've added?
I really like, I hadn't seen other groups handle it in this way with like adding the array of purchase dates, and I like that a lot. I think it's really thoughtful and forward thinking. I think that's really cool. What did I want to ask? Yeah, I think this one is really challenging in terms of the AC and interpreting the AC. So how did you decide what everything meant? Sometimes you just have to decide.
Well, I think we decided instead of completely deleting the item when we purchased it, we wanted it to stay there, just deactive, because that way we can, ideally we're trying to come up with a kind of semi-AI, right, for how often something is purchased. So that was what the big interpretation we had to do for the third AC. But yeah, this made the most sense looking forward what our end goal was.
Yeah, we had also looked at the issue where the items are sorted by like next purchase date, and how there was sort of like soon, not so soon, and like then there was sort of inactive for things that had only been purchased once. And we figured we could ultimately probably sort the items that had just been purchased down to there before they reappeared in the section of when they need to be purchased next as well.
Cool. Oh, and then you also discovered another, not an issue, but something that you wanted to add in the future in terms of items. Like if an item it had already been purchased, I think there was something that you wanted to add in the future to be able to unpurchase it or something.
Yeah, totally. Well, Quinn had brought up the AC as well in the conversation for our PR about, I think it was finding a way to unmark it as like purchased. So we thought that like personally, I thought it would make sense to add it to when we view the item and the item details later, it'll show the last purchase date. And beside that, we could probably add some sort of button that reverted the last purchase date. So I added it to issue 13, just because it seemed to make the most sense there.
Cool. All right, other questions or comments? It's really nice.
Yeah, this is great.
I really like how you really establishing kind of that Firebase utils file, right? All of the Firebase utility functions are living in there. So I like how you're doing that. It's nice.
Oh, one other thing, we globally changed the list items to not display the bullet points. So that's why these don't display that anymore. So if in the future someone uses the list and doesn't know why that's not showing, that's because we did that.
Cool. Yeah, it looks nice. Awesome. Great work. Super great work. I can't believe how easily everyone's just knocking out these issues. So great. I mean, I can believe it, of course. Of course I can. All right. Wonderful. Next pair, Tiana and Quinn.
Quinn, I tried to do the get diff thing and it didn't do anything for me. So would you mind if I just shared my screen and you walked through it? Okay. Do you want to do the our app first or the code?
Let's do the app. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you have to pull the most recent version.
I just did. Well, I did a git pull.
Okay.
I didn't do a like.
You're on main?
I am not on main. I did a git pull just to our branch.
Okay.
Does that matter?
Oh, well, actually, you can just go to the app. I think Kat just dropped the link in the chat, the Zoom chat. Yeah.
Gotta get back to that now. I never know how to like re-find my Zoom area. Okay, let's just open this back up. There it is.
It's a little challenging to go with window, but okay.
Okay. Can you guys still see it?
Awesome.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Cool. So, would you mind putting a specific token into local storage? I can actually drop it in the chat.
A token? Should I go to welcome? Because
yeah, I'm gonna get. Well, I have a specific token that has like some examples. I think will like help us to talk through the.
Totally. I think I just need to clear my local storage or something. Because it's.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I dropped the token. Yeah. I can say it out loud too. It's REP.
Oh, it's okay. I got it.
Yeah. Cool.
I know the token names are so fantastic.
Great. So for our AC, we had to create a new. I'm pulling it up. We had to create a new field to search. 1 second. Close. So we did display text field on top of the shopping list, and then we had to make sure that as the user types into the field, we filter out results. The results had to match whether it was from the beginning of the result name or if it was like in the middle of the result name. We took it as long as it's a continuous sequence of letters and it matches the result name, it should be able to match with any result name that has those continuous letters, like in order. And then we also had to make sure that we could like clear the search field with some other like element, like a UI element. So yeah, so we ended up. I guess we can go to the code now. Yeah. So,
You said we can go to the code?
yeah. So in list, yeah. So we ended up adding we moved our search field and the button into like the second part of the ternary. So if you have the token, then you actually what does it say? You can scroll up a little bit. Yeah. So if you have results, then you'll see it's like our search field with the results, and we just scroll down to where the results that filter is. So we used the filter, and we actually took a cue from Kat had mentioned it in her in the PR in our PR, but we took a cue from Kat and Lauren in their previous PR where they used the replace function to get rid of any punctuation that might throw off the results. And then we used the includes function to match any like substring with our result name to our actual search term. Yeah, so we also thought that it would be useful to not be able to click to clear the search field if there wasn't any text in the search field. So we added that disabled prop. We got a suggestion from Kat and Lauren about like the SR only, just to make sure that we don't clutter our space. We can have screen readers read the search label, and then in app.js, we moved all of our search term and set search term use state. Yeah, right there. We moved our state up to app because we figured that at this point, since we don't have like tons of components, app is never going to unmount. And if we pass down our search term, then if we switch between the list and add item routes, we'll never clear the search term field. So it just seemed like a nicer thing to do for like in terms of UI. Like you never clear your search field, you just have the results that you previously had, or at least what you previously typed in. Yeah, I think that's it.
I agree. Okay, so nothing really changed that much. I thought something else changed over the week, but okay.
Oh no.
Cool.
Was there anything else that you saw?
I was on top of it.
Quinn, did you do something kind of at the end that was separate maybe from this issue? Maybe there was some CSS that was broken or something. I can't remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I thought that it would be great to just add a height to the whole page and then like double check, which I should have. So we ended up adding some height to the results, like the data that holds the results, and making sure that it could overflow so you could scroll down and see all of your results. Yeah, so just making it a little bit easier to work with at this point, and then we can make decisions on how to change and stuff. Yeah.
That's right. Now I remember. That's great. That's really I really like how everyone's checking, right, to see if things are working as expected. That's really awesome. I think my favorite part of what you all did was putting the search term up in the app state. It's really nice actually to keep that filter term as you navigate back and forth. That's really nice, I think, so that the user like intentionally is clearing the search term exactly when they want to. It's really nice. Let's see, what else? What kinds of challenges did you run into, or what was the trickiest part, I guess, of this week?
I would say, I think once we had actually written down the filter, I kind of thought to myself, is this like the best way to go about like finding, like filtering these results? I don't know. I'm still questioning myself about whether this is like the best. I mean, it's such a small, like you're only typing it. You're probably typing in like 20 letters, but just thinking about like is there a better way? I don't know. I couldn't. The regex was kind of a little bit. It's not a struggle thing. I'm still trying to like figure out how to go about like writing a regex or something like that. But yeah, just like trying to like think of a different solution, I guess, for that specific. Yeah.
Cool. Tiana, how about for you?
I got really caught up in the conditional render that's already on the list that was already pre-created, and it was basically like, if this exists, show these things. If not, no. And that no was just messing with me, and I like couldn't get past like, what does it mean? What is it referring to? What is no? And I got like really like internalizing with it. But luckily, Keeley had some office hours and worked through it with me, and basically told me I was correct in my theory, that I could just remove it and continue my conditional, like add on to it. And I was like, oh, good. That's what I thought. But I was like, if I remove this null, is it going to ruin everything? So that was just an internal battle.
I think sometimes that's one of the trickiest things, is to like go into code that's already there and you have to add something to it. Like, how do I make sure that all of this fits together and I'm not breaking something else? And yeah.
Yeah, and Tiana, you already knew the answer too. That was the best thing. Like, all I did was just go, yeah, you're right.
I just needed validation.
Cool. Any what other questions do people have? Questions, comments? All right. Nice work, everybody. I'm just continuously amazed by just how on top of everything you are. And I really like everyone front loading the work at the beginning of the week. We can talk more during retro about how time management is feeling. But yeah, so with that, let's transition over to Matthew, who's here. Hooray. Let's do our retro.
Sounds good. Yeah, so it'll just be pretty much a repeat of 2 weeks ago. Does everyone kind of remember exactly the way we did the retro? I could drop a link real quick if anyone needs it. So this is the board that we'll use. I saw a few people have already added some comments, so that's awesome, thank you. But we'll take about 5 minutes, so let's go until about 11:30, and then if you need another minute or so, just let me know. And then I'll share my screen, and we can each kind of go through and read ours out loud, and then towards the end, if there's a common theme that we want to kind of stick with, we can elaborate a bit more on that. So yeah, so we'll take about 5 minutes, and then we'll go through those.
Has anyone else noticed the bug on this page that you can't scroll down? I think it's really funny that that hasn't been fixed yet.
Yeah, it's I was just running into it.
All right. Does anyone else need another minute, or are we about all good? Looks like we got most of them. All right. We can get started. If anyone still does want a minute, just let me know and we can hold off. But we'll start over on appreciations, and I'll just go down through the list. They're going to be slightly jumbled, but that's totally fine. And so assuming they're all in the same order on my screen as they are on yours. So I think the first one looks like, is that you, Keeley?
It is, yeah.
Okay. If you want to go through yours, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out, Lauren and Kat, to you both. First of all, I was really impressed by your PR this week. I just thought your code quality was really top notch. It was clear that you were thinking about future proofing your code and not just getting something to work right away. So just wanted to give you a shout out for that. I was really impressed by the PR, and I thought you both did an awesome job. And then Tiana and Quinn, Tiana, it was great to pair with you on Tuesday. Thank you for pairing with me there. It was just nice to walk through the logic of how React conditionally renders. That was a good refresher for me too. And Quinn, I noticed your code reviews have been really detailed and that you take a lot of attention to detail and give suggestions. And just so wanted to shout that out. I think that's a really good quality and I think you do it really well. Lauren, want to give a huge shout out to you. You've kept us all on track and just making sure everybody knew, okay, this is what we're doing this week. You're really active in the Slack channel. So thank you for taking the time to do that. And then Matthew, thank you for just being so organized and on top of everything. You've been really wonderful to work with.
Great, thank you. And then next up, it looks like Lauren, BD.
Lauren B. Okay, let's see. I thought it was great seeing so many people in the Tech Talk this past Wednesday. This is kind of a new initiative that Collab Lab is introducing. I think it was our second Tech Talk, and there's one coming up in a couple of weeks, beginning of September. So thanks everyone for the support. Keeley, that was awesome, having office hours. We should probably continue that going forward. That was really nice, just having a time when people can drop in and get some help. That was awesome. Oh, I loved it. The Slack channel was really active this week with people sharing resources outside of the specific issues that you were working on. Like, for example, Quinn, I remember you shared something about Cypress, so that was really great. And then Matthew and Keeley, I know I've said this before, but your preparation and organization, I just know I can trust that everyone has their things covered and it makes everything just run so smoothly and really nice. So thank you so much.
Nice. And then the other Lauren.
I just really appreciate the prep work that Kat put in ahead of time for our pairing. It made it so that it was really easy when we got to the Firebase function, which is still pretty new to both of us. So I think it was really important to have that identified ahead of time. In general, I'm really grateful for everyone being on top of tasks. So during the week, there were like 2 days this week that I was really busy and everyone else took care of it during that time. And then I tried to fill in the next day when I had more time. It's just nice to know that we can count on everyone to kind of fill in where needed. And thank you to all the mentors for being really encouraging and supportive, especially when there's little failures. That was really nice having the support for that. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And then, yeah, I read that about halfway through. I can't believe it's like week 4, or we just wrapped week 4 or whatever already. These always go so fast. And then Tiana, you're up next.
There we go. I wanted to echo Lauren a little bit there. Keeley was super helpful. It was great when I first saw that she was like had open office hours. I was like, oh, cool, whatever. And then I was like, wait, I actually have a question. So that was really great. This is gonna come up in later too, but I really do appreciate everybody sharing the resources on Slack. It's there's been a lot of really interesting things, and Quinn was really great to work with, and it was very knowledgeable and really just patient with me. So that was nice.
Yeah, I did notice a lot more activity on Slack. That was great. And then Kat.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out like Quinn and Lauren, for just like absolutely crushing like the merge complex and like the bugs that resulted from them. Like I planned on looking at the code later in the day and everything was already resolved by the time I got to it. And it was just like, it was wild. It's amazing to work with like people who are just so on top of things. And Lauren, programming with you was always like just so much fun. You always are just like so direct and like knowing what we need to do and even like outlining it like right after we got off the call last week. It was awesome. And thank you again for handling the merge. Quinn, your feedback is always so specific and amazing, and it really improves the functionality of our app. So I really appreciate that. And Tiana, working with you last week was awesome. You always have like this intuition where you know exactly what needs to be done, even if like you're not able to like, we were noodling around how to do things for so long and you just knew deep down and it was awesome. So thank you for keeping us on track because my mind tends to wander. And to the mentors, thank you for pushing us to provide more robust commentary in our PRs. Lauren, especially, thank you for that. It's making me a better developer and really getting me to flex my communication skills. So I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Nice, those are great. And then, yeah, my last one is just Keeley. Thanks for a lot of these are kind of repeats of what we've already gone through, but thanks for like checking in with everyone midweek and for hopping on the call and keeping yourself open for that. That was really great. And then, yeah, Lauren, I really appreciate kind of keeping us mentors organized and letting know what's coming up. And then just to everyone else, like Lauren and Tiana and Quinn and Kat, thanks for just being such pros and making our lives easier. It's seeing all the PRs go in like Monday afternoon, evening is just amazing because I kind of touch on this later, but it really just gives so much time to then do like thorough code reviews and kind of yeah, it just gives you the time to really go through everything and understand it. So you've really done a great job and we'll continue. And so we'll move over to the next column. So the what went well. And Keeley, yours is up first there.
Yeah, it's kind of echoing, I think, what several people have said, but I've just been really impressed with the code quality coming from people. You can tell that you're really thinking about what comes next in a feature and not just getting this one to work. So I just think that's really impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And then Quinn.
Yeah, I think we communicate very well. I never feel like I'm like out of the loop or anything. I think that everybody's like very locked in, and I appreciate it. It makes things much easier.
Definitely. Looks like Keeley, you have another one.
Oh, I just, Quinn, I think this was you that started this discussion, but I love the interest in testing. I think writing tests is kind of an underrated skill, and it's something that we often overlook when we're looking to get things working. So just was really impressed that came up.
Yeah, that's something I definitely, I think everyone really, we talk about it so much and we implement it not nearly enough. So I would definitely be watching if you guys want to implement that and learning from you for that one. Lauren?
I really enjoyed working with Kat this week. I've really enjoyed working with everyone, but just reflecting on this week. And I really liked that we got it in Monday night. So it just felt like, as was mentioned previously, that it could we could work on it throughout the week, and it felt very efficient with the other pair as well.
Great. And then Tiana?
Oh, I was on mute that whole time. I think our pair programming went really well, just because I think there's becoming more organization, especially after the conversation about pair programming. And Quinn and I just like switched off bullet points, and that was really nice and just went really smoothly. So yeah.
Awesome. Lauren B.
Let's see, I think I'm echoing what a lot of people have said, but I thought there's just great teamwork and communication happening, and not just in your pairs, but between pairs, inter-pair communication. The PRs are excellent. And I'm really impressed by especially the prep work that you're doing before you start writing code. I think that just really sets you up for success. So I really like the research that's happening ahead of time is really, really good. And then I know everyone works really differently. I'm the kind of person that hates like a rush of activity at the end. Like I like to be done way ahead of time. So the way that this group is working feels really good to me, because you're like, get things done right at the beginning of the week, and then it feels more relaxed throughout the rest of the week, instead of what often happens is sort of this rush of activity on like Saturday night, Sunday morning, frantically trying to get things into Maine. So like it feels like a good cadence to me. I hope it does to you too.
Yeah, and that inter-pair communication really came on early and seemed very natural between everyone. With some of the other groups, even the one I was in, we almost kind of forgot that we could talk to the other pair. It's almost like we siloed within our pair. So it's really been cool how quickly and just how well everyone interacts between the different pairs.
Yeah.
And Quinn?
I feel like every PR that we do, there's always something new to learn. There's always something that like feels maybe like a stretch or like outside of like what I might know. So and I think it's just a great thing to have. It's great to see like to know that like, oh, like I'm not just like going through the motions. Like there are a lot of things I don't know, and then I can really like push through and learn more. And everybody's giving great comments and great advice on how to handle PRs.
Nice. And then Kat?
Just more of the same. The collaboration on the PRs is awesome. Such specific feedback, which makes it super interesting, like easy to incorporate. And also I think that we all come from like different like skill areas. So it's really nice to be able to incorporate the things that like maybe like our pair doesn't know, but like someone else does in the other pair. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And then, yeah, mine is, like Kat just said, more of the same, but very proactive, efficient. Everything gets in early. It gives you plenty of time to really go through reviews thoroughly later on. And like Lauren was saying, not having that like Saturday rush, trying to get everything to production. Yeah, done a great job. And then the last column, what could be improved? And it looks like Kat, you have 2 to start with.
Yeah. So the first is just more critical feedback from the mentors. I feel like every single time that something's like added from the mentors, we just like learn a little bit more, which is awesome. And it's already been happening, but just more of it, I guess. And also seconding Lauren, why just getting to know each other a little bit better would be awesome too.
Yeah, sounds good. Lauren?
Yeah, so I realized that we're basically halfway through, and I don't know too much about everyone personally, even though I think we work together well. So it'd be nice to get to know each other so that we have like lasting relationships. And also, I feel like since we are pretty efficient with getting the issues done, it might be fun to start incorporating smaller, easier things now than waiting to the very end, such as I think someone wanted to I think towards the end we added like displaying the list name or being able to switch between lists. That would probably be pretty fast for us to incorporate. So maybe we could start doing that earlier than later.
Sure. Keeley?
Sorry, Meet wasn't working there. Yeah, the only thing I wanted to just make sure I asked the 4 of you was if we took sufficient action on items from the last retro. I know we had some ideas about incorporating new issues, and so I just wanted to make sure that you felt that we had taken action and that you were seeing a place, for example, where we could store new ideas for issues. So pretty small one, but just wanted to touch on that.
And then Tiana?
Yeah, so in my appreciation appreciations, I appreciated everybody on the Slack channel, and now I'm going to poop on it. I really like that there's so many resources coming in, but at the same time, the problem I'm having is it's like the Slack channel is almost becoming a little overwhelming for me because I am at work 40 hours a week plus the hour. So I'm gone 50 hours a week, and I'll see these notifications and be like, oh, what's happening? I'll look at it quick and I'm like, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. So it's like a pro and a con. There's nothing to be done there, and I'm not at all like making anybody or trying to make anybody feel bad, but like there's just a pro and a con for me.
Okay. Yeah, it's something we can explore more. And then Lauren, last one.
Oh yeah, so I think Tiana touched on it a little bit. I know she thought that pairing went well this week. I'm interested if the group felt that the learning module on pair programming kind of informed what they were doing this week. And then just a warning, just be careful not to add too much to your workload. Like, working is challenging and doing Collab Lab is challenging and life can be challenging. So I just want to, we are trying to not have it be over a 5-hour time commitment. So just be mindful like of how you're feeling and reach out if you're feeling overwhelmed with things, but be careful not to add too much to your plates, I guess.
Okay, great. So kind of looking through these, were there any kind of themes that anyone wanted to, so there were a couple here talking about kind of getting to know each other more like personally for lasting relationships moving forward. And then there's kind of adding a little bit more and then taking a bit more off. So is there any like one or two of those that we want to kind of break out even further to discuss, or kind of like maybe ideas for how to tackle some of these like ideas?
Maybe is how do people feel about individuals being able to tackle extra issues, so that if someone has extra time that week, they could just add the button if they feel like it. But I think until now, probably no one has wanted to overstep and do extra, but also maybe that could help, you know, as we all have different time towards the end of the week, if everyone feels free to do that, then we could advance it that way without stepping, without adding too much to someone else's plate or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know other mentors' ideas or everyone, but I think as long as you feel like it's not mandatory or you know adding any extra burden, and everyone else in the group is okay with the additions, I don't personally see an issue, but I'd love to get everyone else's thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think, Lauren, that's a great idea. Even at work, we'll have people that are just like, hey, I wanted to do this. And they drop the PR in the channel describing what they did. And, you know, if anybody dislikes it, then you can comment in the PR. That's what like code review is for. So I think that's perfect. If people want to do that and just share the PR, I think that's a great idea.
We could also drop it like in Slack, because like I am also more than willing to work on like extra things if we want to like collaborate on it as well. So we can always just like volunteer if we have extra time.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
I was just gonna say, I would just really like really good information about what's happening, because sometimes things are changing and I don't quite understand what's going on, and then it makes me even more stressed that I'm not being active enough, or I'm like not like that I'm not adding enough to it. So just being like really transparent and like clear as to like what's happening, that's all I'd ask for.
Yeah, I think the thing I would say was like, as long as we know who's working on what, so like we don't accidentally like work on the same thing. I don't know if that would happen, but like it would really be like annoying if we both work on the same, if like two people work on the same thing. And like if we were like making a change, like I know Laura was talking about the users, like adding users. If we did something like that, if we like had like a layout of how that would like work, and then worked off of that, like that would be, yeah, I'd be fine with like people taking more PRs or making more adjustments by themselves. Yeah.
I think a good idea, piggybacking off of what Quinn said, is if you're working on something, create a specific issue that defines what you're working on and assign yourself and whoever else is working on that issue. And of course, like communicate it in the Slack channel. But if you have a specific issue, then it's on the project board. People can reference there, like, oh, what are people working on? And that'll be one way to kind of not duplicate work.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess the last thing, I'm just conscious we have about 10 minutes left. To Tiana's point, I think everyone does do a really great job of threading. But maybe, I don't know, Tiana, is that kind of when you feel like there's a lot, because all of a sudden like our TCL-10 channel will like have a lot of like items in it, like if there's more threading, and would that kind of help? So I definitely know what you mean when like you go to it and all of a sudden you feel like you have to catch up. I know
potentially,
that like,
yeah. I'm not sure what the the fix of it would be, but sometimes, I mean, I think that some of them start getting a little vague because people get in their head like, oh, this sort of thing happened and I just had to fix it quick. But I'm like, what happened? Like, do I need to know about it? And even though I probably don't, it still like stresses me out that I'm not totally understanding what's happening, which is just life. And I get that. So that's like my only qualm.
Okay. No problem. Great. Is there anything else before we move on to the upcoming issues?
Can I just say something quickly about I actually took some time to like look over Cypress, and I attempted to make to do tests for the ACs that were happening this week for Tiana branch. I haven't pushed it to the repo, but if like I would love if anybody wanted to like look. It's like by all means, like I just like went through it and like I think I did like okay. I don't think it's like whatever, but I would love to see if like if anybody wants to like tag team with that on me and like work on it, or just, yeah, give it feedback or whatever. Yeah.
That's awesome, Quinn. Good job.
Yeah.
I would personally just love to see it. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind pushing up the branch so we could see. Yeah, that would be great.
Cool.
Great. Yeah, no, I'd be really interested in that too. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and then I guess hand over to Lauren or Keeley, whoever wants to lead through.
Yeah, I'll take it. So I'm just checking on our pairs. So this week's pairs are Quinn and Kat and Tiana and Lauren. And so I'll share my screen quickly. All right. So we have 2 issues coming up this week. So the first is issue number 10. So as an item, I want my estimated next purchase date to be computed at the time my purchase is recorded. And then that should be in the database so the app can learn how often I buy different items. And we have the acceptance criteria down here. It's a single line. So as you all work on it, if you have some questions, let us know. And then we have issue 11. So as a user, I want to be able to delete items from my shopping list so that my list isn't cluttered with items I don't want to buy in the future. And again, we have some acceptance criteria down here. So user is able to delete an item. Before deleting, prompt the user to confirm that they really want to delete the item to prevent accidental deletions. And then deletion should cause the associated record in the database to also be deleted. Does anybody have a preference for which issue they'd like to work on? Otherwise, I can just assign them. Okay, going once. Nothing? Okay. All right, so for issue 10, let me pull up my pairs again here. So Quinn and Kat, are you all comfortable with issue 10?
I do have a quick question about issue 10.
Yeah.
I know that we have this like estimates file in the library, but what if we wanted to make our own like function to do it? I just noticed that like we could probably use like a reduce function in order to find like the average difference, and it might be like a little bit tidier than all of this, and like it's something that I would be interested in playing around with. Is that cool?
Yes, I would completely support that. If it's no trouble, Kat, I'm kind of thinking out loud, but if you do that, if you wouldn't mind maybe in your PR comparing and contrasting what you did with the script, just to draw the contrast, that would be awesome. But yeah, completely encourage that. I think that's a great idea.
Cool. Quinn, as long as you're cool with that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, great. Thank you, Kat. That's a great question. Oh, I'm excited to see that. All right. So Kat and Quinn, you should both be assigned now. There we go. All right, and then Lauren and Tiana, I'll assign you to issue 11 here, if that's okay. And do either of you have any questions about this issue?
I don't know if there's something I should just research later, but I can't, usually when I use alerts, it's not to confirm. So is there a way to grab we would create our own alert, like not using a normal alert? Does that make sense?
It's a good question, and happy to talk more offline too. But one thing you could do is create a modal instead of an alert to prompt the user to see if they want to delete.
Okay, okay, that sounds good.
All right, so I'll stop sharing my screen here. I will move these issues quickly into in progress. And then Kat and Quinn, could I ask you both to create your shared branch? And then Lauren and Tiana, I'll ask you to create yours next. Oh, Kat, good question. Very good question. Why don't we say, for the first part of the PR, just merge in a base modal, and then we can say, if you have time this week to create a consistent modal, awesome, we can put that as a stretch goal. But if it's going to prevent you from merging your PR, I think just using a one-off modal is okay. But great question.
And an alert will work too, just FYI.
Yes, and an alert will also work.
Kat, do you want me to create it, or you could create it, or?
Yeah, up to you. If you want to create it, that's cool. If not, I can do it.
That's fine.
I mean,
Lauren, did you hear me? I can do it. Unless you've done it already.
nope, I haven't.
Okay.
So maybe when we add extra ideas or issues, we can, when we write the issue number, add like a star or something so we all know it's extra. And then if someone's interested in doing it, like Wednesday night, someone's free and wants to do it, maybe we can send a message in Slack to say like, anyone else want to jump in? And then otherwise just assign it to ourselves. Does that sound like a good system?
Yes, I think that sounds like a great idea. I like the star too, to just show that it's an extra issue. And then you don't have to worry about numbering them too.
I felt so on top of this, and now I can't remember how to create a branch all of a sudden.
So if you do, Tiana, git checkout flag B, also hyphen B, and then the name of your branch. Oh, yep, Kat's on it too.
Oh, I think it's because I'm already, yeah. Okay. I had to do a little bit more than I thought I did. That's so weird. I'm gonna have you do it, Lauren. I'm having some really weird stuff on my end. It doesn't like one of the words I used.
Do you want to share your screen, Tiana, and we can debug it?
It is just this. So I did like our name, delete item from list, and then it says list is not a commit.
Could you press up, arrow key up just so we can see this again. So I think that you might have had an enter or a space. Can you try to do get checkout B? So type the same thing you did before. Okay.
So, oh, well, whoops. Let's go back, take our time. Probably could have done this faster.
There we go. Yeah, when there's a space between the branch name, you can actually set it to a specific commit. You can set the head. And so that's what it was trying to do with list there.
Gotcha. All right. And I can just push it. Cool. I know what's going on there now. Now stop it. There we go. Cool.
I think, Tiana, sorry, would you mind sharing your screen again? I'm not sure if that push was successful.
It was not, because I had to do the upstream thing, and now we're good.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. And I'll send that to Lauren. Or just in case. Okay.
Got it.
Okay, awesome. All right, so everybody has their shared branch? Perfect. All right, great. Well,
I
thanks so
have
much.
one announcement. Sorta, I guess, just like a note. I'm going out of town. We're leaving Thursday to go to Minnesota. So, hi, Lauren. I should be able to be at the meeting on Sunday. I'm gonna figure it out. I might be up north, but I'm not sure what's happening yet. It shouldn't affect my ability to do any work. I just might not be able to do the meeting. Not sure yet. And the same with the next week, which would be worse because we might be driving back that day. So
Okay, great. Yeah, just keep us posted.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiana. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Good luck this week.
Nice work, everybody.
Woohoo. Bye.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.